and welcome to another edition of In Conversation. My name is Wayne Phillips from AWS. We're joined today by George Paradakis of Alfresco, Gareth Aitken of Preservica, Jonathan Tom of Tivaro, and Tim Raines of AWS. So, folks, would you just introduce yourselves and tell us a bit more about your companies?
Certainly. George Paradakis from Alfresco. Alfresco is a software company that works both on-premises and on cloud. We are partners with AWS, and our main focus area is helping customers in digital transformation, looking at the operational efficiencies on the business, as well as preserving content and information management for compliance purposes.
Great, thank you.
So I'm Gareth Aitken. I'm the Head of Market Strategy at Preservica. At Preservica, our role is to protect the digital legacy of our customers' information, to protect them against the fragility and risk that's inherent in digital information, both in terms of media and bit level protection, but also making sure that their information is protected, findable and usable for the very long term, for more than 10 years, for customers who have a duty of care, also who maybe have reasons in compliance and regulation.
Fantastic, thank you.
I'm Jonathan Tom. I'm the Chief Revenue Officer for Tivaro. Tivaro is a B2B marketing SaaS company. We're also a partner of AWS, and we focus on helping customers unlock the value of their valuable customer data through identity management, through GDPR permissions, and personalization.
Fantastic, thank you. Tim?
My name is Tim Raines. I'm the EMEA lead for security and compliance for AWS. And AWS, our aspiration is to be the most customer-centric company in the world, and we have 120, 125 plus services that we offer to our customers.
Great stuff, thank you. So GDPR has been around for a little while now, and it'd be very interesting to hear from the diverse perspectives that you have as to what you're hearing from your customers. So Jonathan, maybe you could start us off.
Yeah, I think GDPR couldn't have happened at a better time. I think it's really heighten the awareness about where data is coming from, how it's collected, do we have permission from consumers to use the data. In this case, we focus on the marketing activation side. I think it's improved the level of data literacy across different stakeholders within an organization as well as outside the organization. And I think it's also helped elevate kind of a customer-first approach.
Right.
We have to respect and honor the preferences of customers, and that the business processes, the business needs all have to sort of follow from there.
Great, thank you.
Well, we saw some interesting concerns actually that came from the enactment of GDPR. As you may have remembered at the time, there was a lot of discussion about the right to be forgotten, and also the regulation around keeping information for only the duration that's necessary. Now, a lot of our customers, they are archivists working in archives. Of course, they need to keep information for long term. So they saw this as potentially, or initially at least, a conflict. And so there were some concerns, and we spent some time talking about the challenges that might bring to their roles. We saw as well that a number of organisations maybe misunderstood the requirements or took an overly cautious route. And so we've worked with organisations through building trust and communication to educate where possible, and also looking at the regulations where there are appropriate derogations and in place to, as long as the safeguards exist, to make sure that people can continue to look after their information and abide by their responsibility to remember, right, alongside making sure that they safeguard the information of individuals.
Thanks. George?
Yeah, similar experiences in a way. The timing is very interesting because it started creating an awareness that companies and public sector organizations are not entitled to personal data, which has been the culture for a while now. So it goes back to giving the consumers the right to own their own personal data. And I think that has been more of a cultural shift inside organizations rather than a technological one. And I think a lot of our customers have been able to tick some of the technology boxes around them, but they're still in a journey to how they culturally change their organization to be able to respect data, understand that they don't have ownership, understand that what you give an organization to finance does not belong to marketing, and making those distinctions internally. So I think it's still a journey, it's still early in the journey. We have quite a lot to learn once some of the companies start getting challenged, both by the regulators and by legal frameworks. It varies quite dramatically. The approach and the response to GDPR varies quite dramatically by geography and by vertical industry. Companies that come from a much stronger regulated environment have been able to accommodate the requirements easier. Companies that come from very retail market-driven organizations find it quite a burden how they're going to deal with that, handle on that data. So I think it's a great space and it's still developing. And the more we get organizations to understand whose data they're actually managing, the better they'll become at it.
Does that resonate with you, Tim?
Absolutely. Specifically what George was just saying about differences between industries and countries and so on. I couldn't agree more. That's exactly what I'm seeing from our customers. And again, the customers that have been complying with different regulations over the years, they had kind of a smaller gap to cover in terms of technical and organizational measures that GDPR requires. Organizations that are able to that are used to doing things from a strategic point of view, because GDPR requires a strategy as opposed to just doing a checklist approach to compliance. Those organizations that can do strategy, I think, have had an easier time of figuring out what they're going to do with GDPR and getting their arms around it than those that have been doing PCI or some of the other older types of regulatory compliance.